Hello, my friend. Welcome to Newsline. It's an evening with you on Newsline. It's a short tonic to last for a very long time. Now, Newsline opens your mind to vast possibilities, strengthens it, and helps you make sense of human actions and also navigate the vicissitudes of life and keep moving. Tonight, Newsline is a potpourri. We have everything in the mix, from the good, not too good, and the very ugly. We will take you on a visit to a community called Sin in Kana local government area of River State, where a man's unfettered incest has ended in a catastrophic manner. Also in the mix tonight, we will get experts' clarification on the weight of suicide in victims and the place of cognitive behavioral therapy. Plus, sometimes one only needs to lose one dear person and the whole world becomes depopulated. And what can you say, or how do you console such a grieving person? Well, that's the outline of our program this evening. But before I set on the gas, or before I step on the gas rather, and get this job done with, let's hear the major trending hard news from Elizabeth Omori.
Thank you so much, Clay. And thanks for joining us on the news segment. The Nigerian people woke up to the dreadful news of the unprovoked killing of brave military personnel during a rescue mission to Okwama Community, Uhele South local government area of Delta State on Saturday. A commanding officer, 2 majors, 1 captain, 12 soldiers and a civilian sadly lost their lives. In a condolence message, the Commander-in-Chief, President Bola Tinubu, joins Nigerians, men and women of the armed forces to mourn and express profound grief over the endless death of the gallant soldiers. The President extends his condolences to the families of these fallen soldiers, their colleagues and loved ones, saying the military high command is already responding to this incident and emphasizes that the offenders responsible for this heinous crime will not go unpunished. President Tinubu says this incident once again demonstrates the dangers faced by Nigerian servicemen and women in the line of duty and salutes their courage and uncommon grit and patriotism. As a nation, the President says all those who have paid the full ultimate price to keep the country safe, strong and united must be constantly remembered and honored, noting that the officers and men who died in Okwama community have joined the pantheon of great men and women who gave their all with honor in the service of their fatherland. President Tinubu warns that any attack on members of the armed forces is a direct attack on the nation, which would not be accepted. He says the Defense Headquarters and Chief of Defense Staff have been granted full authority to bring to justice anybody found to have been responsible for this great crime against the Nigerian people. The President says his government will not relent until the nation achieves peace and tranquility in every part of Nigeria. Away from the killings, Nigeria can generate 94 billion naira annually from local production of special palm oil for major industries based in the country who import the product from foreign countries. A professor of agricultural engineering from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Kehinde Owolarafe, stated this at a sensitization program organized for stakeholders in the palm oil value chain by the Standards Organization of Nigeria in Osogbo. Femi Afarigun has details.
From first producer of palm oil in the 60s, Nigeria is now the 5th largest producer of palm oil in the world. The global demand for palm oil keeps increasing, and this one-day sensitization workshop by Standard Organization of Nigeria is for palm oil producers, processors, distributors, marketers, retailers, and users on the need to increase production without compromising standards. The managing director of Standard Organization of Nigeria, in a message to the workshop, explained that the palm oil industry represents one of the most effective avenues for poverty alleviation, food security and ensuring economic stability in Nigeria.
We have relevant standards that will guide the producers in order for the product to meet up with the minimum requirement of the standard.
An agricultural engineer, Professor Kehinde Owolarafe, described the untapped resources in the production of palm oil as huge, urging government to provide needed technologies for local producers.
The quantity of SPO, that is special palm oil, imported that has been used by this company amount to about 94 billion naira in a year. That's if we can empower our processor here, it's a lot of business for them. Try to upgrade them so they can produce special palm oil and they will feed the local industry, and we can even export.
The Standard Organization of Nigeria is taking the sensitization workshop to all palm oil producing states. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
To Humanitarian Affairs, Nigerian philanthropist and industrialist Dr. Eric Umofia of Eriska Foods donates hundreds of cartons of tomato paste and seasonings to Abia State government in his country home in Aba. Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports that the gesture is to alleviate the sufferings of widows in the state.
As the world battles worsening economic crisis, gestures such as donation of food items is always a cheering news for governments and individuals. Governor Alesoti, who received it on behalf of the government and people of Abia State, appeals to the industrialists to take advantage of the opportunity of the huge investment of the government of Abia State in critical infrastructure to cite his Erisco food enterprise in the state, noting that the state is now a new destination for industrialization.
Governments from federal to state are doing their best to make sure things are doing right. Things have come back to shape. So our usual ritual for years now is that sometimes we continue to help people, especially the widows. So that protest of hunger, I'm not happy with it. Not that I have more, I have big, but because it touches my heart to help less privileged people. Because we don't carry money to heaven. I call other Nigerians to support. Every state, from your local government, from your kindred, to Nigeria as a government as a whole. We are not doing only in Abia, we are doing for other states also.
Dr. Eric Umofia says, touched by the cry of hunger by the masses, he decided to make the donation in many states of the Federation, urging Nigerians to be patient with President Tinubu and Dr. Alesoti-led governments, as good days are already in sight, and promise to cite his company in the state in due time. Ikechukwu Ndukwe, NTA News.
Now to innovation and research, the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, has challenged academic institutions to place priority on training students that will become innovators who will create digital solutions. This was as Veritas University received a pat on the back for coming tops at the just concluded Africa Innovation Challenge of the African Telecommunication Union meeting in Kenya. Chimdima Undubisi reports.
At this time, when some countries are experiencing poor agricultural yield and shortage of food supply, students of Veritas University have come up with a globally applicable smart farm solution that can increase food production and promote sustainable farming practices for economic boom. The cost-effective smart farm, formulated with 50% locally sourced raw materials, is powered by Internet of Things and artificial intelligence technologies.
We have various sensors on the farm, and once the moisture content of the soil has been depleted, it sends a signal to our controller for it to perform smart irrigation.
This and the PHP framework that enables development of any software are the mind-blowing innovations that fetched Nigeria the overall position at the Africa Innovation Challenge. The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, wants Veritas University's story to inspire other Nigerian universities to groom digital entrepreneurs.
Not only do we need to help raise and groom these strong people to become part of the workforce that will lift our nation and help with economic prosperity, we also need to understand that the world we need today demands that we have innovators as well. So it is also the responsibility of academic institutions to also groom these young people to become innovators, people who are creators.
26 African universities participated in this year's competition. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
To infrastructure development, Kaduna State Government flags off construction of a dual carriage bridge to open up the city and ease the hardship of communities who rely on makeshift wooden canoes to cross the river to the city every day. Mohammed Umar Ajinge reports that the state governor, Ubasani, performed the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction.
There are about 10 communities across this river, with the people facing daily struggle of crossing with wooden canoe in spite of the risks, especially during the rainy season when the river swells.
The students use canoe to cross the river every year, and more than 20 to 30 students die.
However, even in the face of hardship, hope can still prevail as this bridge slowly takes shape here to end their daily struggle.
This project comprises of the provision of water and sanitation to all the communities, provision of power utilities, and it will also cut across about 8 districts.
Ngwando's new extension layout symbolizes efforts of this administration aimed at opening up new districts by utilizing private sector capital to provide primary and secondary roads, power supply, and waste management systems, amongst others.
The 15-span dual carriage bridge from College Road in Gwandosa will link to Mashigi and straight down to the eastern bypass of Millennium City, with a new layout to address the issues of housing deficit in the state. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
In another news, troops of the Nigerian army eliminated some terrorists in raid operations conducted in Kaduna, Katsina, and Plateau states. In a statement by the Director, Army Public Relations Officer Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, the troops foiled a kidnap attempt at a primary school in Plateau State. Similarly, troops acting on intelligence successfully raided a terrorist hideout at Datsinkura in Batsari local government area of Katsina State and eliminated some terrorists after exchange of fire. During the operations, military woodland, camouflage uniforms, ballistic helmets, and several weapons were recovered. And the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in the past week intercepted drug consignments in a car compartment, huge amount of tramadol pills, and destroyed over 3 tons of cannabis worth millions of naira. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim tells us more.
In its relentless fight against drug abuse and trafficking, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) on patrol in Yanagua, Bayelsa State intercepted a motorcycle dispatch rider and recovered 200 grams of chin-chin produced with cannabis sativa, which was on a mission to be delivered to a buyer. A swift follow-up operation led to the arrest of the hairdresser who distributes the drugged chin-chin from the salon where she works. A search of the salon also led to the recovery of 3 kilograms, bringing the total weight of the illicit substance seized from the dough to 3.2 kilograms. Investigations reveal that they distribute the chin-chin often laced with cannabis and tramadol to students and at birthday parties. In the same vein, NDLEA operatives in Adamawa State on Wednesday, 13th March, arrested 2 suspects on its wanted list while on their way from Onitsha, Anambra State, where they had gone to buy a consignment of tramadol containing 14,428 pills of the opioid, which they tucked in the body compartment of their black Honda Civic car. They were nabbed along Newman Jalingo Road. Also recovered from them were 21 grams of cannabis and monetary exhibits totaling 19,280 naira. Similar arrests of different kinds of illicit substances were made in Osun, Ibadan, Bauchi, Kano, Nasarawa, Adamawa State, and the Federal Capital Territory. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the interagency synergy between the Nigeria Customs Service and other security agencies led to seizures of about 17 firearms and ammunition, as well as 23 packages of psychotropic substances. In addition, the Nigeria Customs Service Tinkan Island Command generated the sum of 240 billion 302 million naira from January 2024 till date. This was made known during a public disclosure of the seized items by the command. Amaka O reports that suspects arrested in connection with the seizures are currently being prosecuted.
The vision of the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service is to foster collaboration, consolidation and innovation among agencies of government to strengthen anti-smuggling activities and facilitate legitimate trade.
This is one of the most dangerous among the arms you can see here.
These joint efforts, especially between the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Department of State Service, and the Nigeria Police Force, have yielded results with the recent seizures of 11 rifles, 6 pistols that came with various cartridges, and 23 packs containing 23 kilograms of heroin.
The command in recent time have also made yet another seizure of psychotropic substances imported into the country, but through the collaboration with our partner agency, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, has been intercepted. Based on collaboration with them, as you can see right behind me, several kilograms of cannabis indica has been seized.
Some of the arms and ammunition you are seeing over here, they come together with some of these drugs. So maybe you can say it's the same syndicate who are partaking in this various different activities across the whole country. They have their own network here in Nigeria, and they have network in the various countries across the distant West African country.
The Tinkan Command of the Nigeria Customs Service says it has surpassed the 94 billion naira monthly revenue benchmark for each month by 107% in January, while that of February was surpassed by 141%. The command applauded the support of the Lagos State government in providing easy access through the ports and connecting roads. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Now let's talk religious matters, sharing with the needy and obeying the tenets of Islam. The message of speakers at the 21st Annual National Unity Lecture of Al-Habibiyya Islamic Society. Chokwe Alabi reports that the Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembas, was represented at the event.
Ramadan promotes unity and brotherhood, and sharing with the needy comes under the fear of Allah, with fasting also prescribed for all Muslim faithful during the season. Leveraging on this is the focus of this 21st Annual National Unity Ramadan Lecture, with the theme, Ramadan Coping with the Current Challenges.
For example, in the area of work, those that Allah has blessed, you can use your money for people, and yet it will not reduce by 1 naira, because it's an endowment.
By the time we are able to spread with what we have, the little that we share with those that did not have, the society will be a peaceful and a better place for everyone to live.
For the Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, represented by the Executive Director News, Ajo Adewuji, and the Comptroller General, Nigeria Customs Service, Bashir Adeniyi, the time has come for compassion and empathy towards the poor.
I would like us to always build faith in ensuring that positive change is possible. All we need to do is to do our bit as responsible Muslims and responsible Nigerians.
And the first amongst all of this is to ensure that when you are happy, your happiness is not complete when the person next to you is sad.
We are part of the program, and the program has been there for decades. It brings the unity of the Nigerians and the entire Muslims at large.
Government and leaders in the society and the businessmen in the society should open up and be able to accommodate more employees so that people can be able to feed themselves.
While Ramadan is a month of reflection, conversation at this National Unity Lecture wants Muslims to embrace and propagate global principles and traits in justice, freedom, purity, and compassion for the less privileged, irrespective of their faith. In Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
And more Islamic scholars are calling on the Muslim Ummah to be fervent in prayers for the nation for Allah's blessings as they observe this year's holy month of Ramadan. Zenrek Dinoon put together some reports on Ramadan lectures.
Ahmad Fulani reports that Islamic scholars say in spite of the current economic challenges facing Nigeria, there will be light at the end of the tunnel if Nigerians extend hands of fellowship and have empathy for one another, as exemplified by Prophet Muhammad.
Whatever situation any Muslim may find himself, he must first look into Al-Quran al-Karim and prophetic tradition.
Deepen your connection with Almighty Allah.
Similarly, Islamic scholars in Bauchi agree that only repentance from the negative attitudes with fairness and justice would safeguard Nigerians against the multiple effects of the current economic situation in the country, as reported by Muazu Hassan.
First step, let us fear Almighty Allah in all our affairs. In all our affairs, don't ever look into anybody saying that so-so person has did it. What is your own? What is your own contribution? Secondly, repentance. Let's repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be sincere in our repentance.
Zen Reddingmoon, NTA News.
And in the spirit of the 2024 Ramadan season, the Confederation of APC support groups hosted some members of the Abuja Muslim community to the traditional breaking of fast. Director General of the organization, Kailani Mohammed, says the initiative is to identify with the needy and join hands in praying for the future of Nigeria. Abubakar Kwanga reports.
It is sunset and the call to prayer signifies the breaking of the day's fast, with hundreds queuing to treat their stomachs in a very special way after hours of endurance. The Director General Confederation of APC support groups, Professor Kailani Mohammed, says the essence was to bring a segment of the fasting population beyond party lines to unite in prayers for the country.
I would like to call on Nigerians to support this government. We are just maybe about 11 months into leadership, into good governance. The president has been doling out policies that will bring succor, that will bring sanity, that will rejuvenate and rejig this country.
He noted that Nigeria's narrative will change under the Tinubu's presidency, and citizens will bask in the euphoria and blossom for prosperity of the land. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Talking sports, big week ahead for Nigeria at the African Games as Manchester United and Liverpool deliver FA Cup Classic in England. Details with Bade Adeleye on Sports Updates.
More medals are being targeted by Team Nigeria in the new week at the African Games as attention shifts to track and field events. Tobia Muson headlines the list of foreign and home-based athletes set to compete in 30 events for Nigeria as the country aims to finish strong at the Games. Meanwhile, Nigeria's senior women's rugby team are targeting an impressive campaign in Ghana. The Lady Stallions will commence their quest for a historic medal in rugby with a clash against host country Ghana on Wednesday.
We have been training for the past 3 weeks, and coming from South Africa and gelling with the girl, we've really trained so hard and seen so much beautiful talent. I feel like Ghana is not ready for what we bring in, that they're not ready for us.
After meeting Ghana, Nigeria will face Madagascar before challenging Tunisia and finally Uganda for a quarter-final spot. Back home, Lobby Stars remain atop the Nigeria Premier Football League standings despite losing 2-1 away to Enugu Rangers in a match the 26 encounter played on Sunday. Eyimba gave their title push a boost with a convincing 3-1 win over Niger Tornadoes, with Katsina United edging out Plateau United 2-1. In other results, Bendel Insurance were big winners against Doma United, hitting them for 4. Bayelsa United came from behind to record a 2-1 win over Kano Pillars, while Rivers United defeated relegation-threatened Heartland 1-0. Manchester City in the semi-finals at Wembley, with Coventry City and Manchester United facing off. With sports update, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
Thank you, Bade. Will the weather be nice tomorrow, Monday, or will the blazing sun hit hard? Let's find out.
Thank you for joining us. This satellite picture shows dust over Niger Republic, and by Monday it's expected to keep the northern parts of the country in moderate dust haze condition. The remaining parts of the country are expected to be quiet with just patches of cloud during the morning hours. And as we progress into the day, we expect widespread thunderstorms across the coastal cities, extending to parts of Oyo, Osun, Ogun, Ondo, Edo, Imo, and Enugu. Isolated thunderstorms are also expected across parts of southern Adamawa, Taraba, parts of the FCT, Niger, Kwara, Kogi, and Benue. Air quality is unhealthy over the north and the north-central cities, and unhealthy for sensitive group over the eastern axis. Daytime temperatures are in their lower 40s over the north and upper 30s over the central cities and the south. Let's take a look at the forecast.
Now you know what the weather would look like tomorrow. That's the news segment. More reports with Claire after the break. To stay with us.